Some children grow up believing love is something you earn, not something you receive, something you perform for. Maybe no one ever said it out loud. No one sat you down and explained it. But somehow, you still learned it. You learned it the day you cried too much and someone sighed. You learned it the day your feelings were called too dramatic. You learned it the day the room went quiet after you spoke honestly. And slowly, your mind connected the dots. Love stays if you behave. Love stays if you stay easy. Love stays if you become the version of yourself that causes the least trouble. And once a child learns that lesson, it can quietly shape the rest of their life. Imagine a child sitting at the dinner table. They're not loud, they're not demanding. They're watching every tone of voice, watching every facial expression. If mum looks stressed, they become quiet. If dad sounds irritated, they disappear into their room. They learn something most children should never have to learn: how to read emotional weather. Because in their mind, peace means safety, and safety means love stays. So they adjust, they become polite, helpful, low maintenance. They become the child adults love describing. Such a good kid. Teachers praise them, relatives admire them, neighbours say the same thing. They're so mature for their age. But what no one sees is the silent calculation happening inside that child's mind. Don't upset anyone. Don't ask for too much. Don't be dramatic. Don't be needy. Just be easy. Because somewhere along the way, they noticed something subtle. When they were helpful, people smiled. When they succeeded, people were proud. When they stayed quiet, people seemed relaxed. But when they struggled, when they cried loudly, when they needed comfort instead of offering it, something changed. Maybe it was a sigh. Maybe it was someone saying, "You're being difficult." Maybe it was simply silence. And children are incredibly sensitive to these moments. They don't analyze them. They absorb them like emotional sponges. And slowly, they start building rules. Not written rules, survival rules. Rule 1, don't be a burden. Rule 2, keep people happy. Rule 3, hide the parts of yourself that might make love disappear. Pause for a moment and ask yourself something honestly. How many times have you apologized, even when you didn't do anything wrong? How often do you replay conversations in your head, wondering if you said too much? Why do you sometimes feel anxious when someone around you is upset, even if it has nothing to do with you? These reactions feel like personality traits, but they're often something else. They're learned responses, echoes of a child who once realized something painful. My emotions might make people leave. The child who learns love is conditional becomes incredibly skilled at one thing: emotional adaptation. They notice tension faster than anyone else. They sense shifts in energy. They adjust themselves instantly. They become the peacekeeper, the responsible one, the understanding one, the one who says it's okay, even when it isn't okay. From the outside, it looks impressive. People call it maturity. They say you're calm, wise, emotionally intelligent. But inside, something else is happening. You're slowly disconnecting from your own needs, because needs feel dangerous, needs create tension, needs risk rejection. And for a child who believes love can disappear, that risk feels too big. So instead, the child becomes self-sufficient too early. They solve their problems alone. They comfort themselves quietly. They stop asking for help, not because they don't need it, but because asking feels unsafe. Eventually, something deeper happens. They stop expecting help altogether. And this pattern quietly follows them into adulthood. You might see it in the way you handle relationships. You try to be the perfect partner. You avoid conflict. You overthink every disagreement. If someone seems distant, even slightly, your mind starts racing. What did I do wrong? Did I upset them? How can I fix this? The panic isn't loud. It's quiet. It hides inside overthinking, inside self-blame, inside the constant need to keep everything smooth. Because somewhere deep inside, a small voice still believes love disappears when you become difficult. And here's the strange part. The child who learned love was conditional often grows up to become someone incredibly loving. You care deeply about people. You notice the small things. You support your friends. You remember details others forget. You give patience, understanding, kindness, almost endlessly. But when it comes to yourself, something feels different. You struggle to believe you deserve the same care. Because deep down, an old belief still whispers, you have to earn it. Pause for a moment again and reflect on this question. When someone shows you genuine love, do you relax? Or do you quietly wonder what they expect from you? Do you trust it? Or do you feel like you have to prove yourself to keep it? For many people who grew up with conditional love, unconditional love feels unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable, like wearing clothes that don't quite fit. You keep waiting for the moments when it disappears, for the moments when you make a mistake and everything changes. But here's something many people discover later in life. Love was never supposed to feel like a performance. Real love doesn't vanish the moment you struggle. It doesn't disappear when you're emotional. It doesn't require perfection. It stays. Even when you're messy, even when you're overwhelmed, even when you're not easy. And this leads to a powerful realization. The behaviors that once helped you survive childhood might now be limiting your life. Being hyper aware of everyone's emotions, avoiding conflict at all costs, believing your needs are too much. These weren't weaknesses. They were survival strategies. Brilliant ones. Your younger self was doing the best they could, trying to keep love close, trying to keep connection alive, trying to stay safe. But you're not that child anymore. And the rules you learned back then don't have to control your life forever. Healing from conditional love doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small, uncomfortable steps. Allowing yourself to have needs. Allowing yourself to say when something hurts. Allowing yourself to ask for support. Allowing yourself to believe that someone can care about you. Even when you're not perfect. Even when you're emotional. Even when you're not easy to deal with. Because the truth is something many people never realize until much later. The parts of you that were hidden to protect love are often the exact parts that deserve love the most. Your fears, your vulnerability, your longing for reassurance, your imperfect emotions. They were never the problem. The problem was the belief that they made you harder to love. And maybe the most important realization of all is this. You were never difficult. You were never too much. You were just a child trying to understand how love worked, trying to keep it close, trying to make sense of the signals around you. Now, as an adult, you get to rewrite that understanding, slowly, patiently, one honest moment at a time. And the more you allow yourself to stop performing, the more you begin to discover something many people spend years searching for. A different kind of love. A love that doesn't disappear when you struggle. A love that doesn't demand perfection. A love that doesn't require you to shrink yourself to keep it. A love that stays, even when you're simply being yourself.